Hello everybody and, well, yeah, welcome to day 3 of the events leading up to the first Rocket Pass Season 1. There is officially 3 days to go. Yesterday there was 4, today there's 3, including today there's still 4, but let's not get worried about the details. But as promised, yesterday we did Rocket Pass 2, the day before that we did Rocket Pass 1, today we continue the story with Rocket Pass 3. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, like I said yesterday, I ended the story on August 16th, and the esports shop just dropped, and I was like, we left the story on that day, just going to sleep excited for the Rocket Pass. So we wake up the next morning, the Rocket Pass is there, and we buy it. My first ever Rocket Pass, I did actually buy this one, so you don't have to worry about me going on about not buying it. I did manage to buy this one. Now, with Tier 1, you got the Guardian. This was the car for the Rocket Pass 3, the Guardian. It had a nice sleek design, very futuristic. Very cool. Then you had the G1. So basically the difference between the Guardian and the Guardian G1 is the back. That's all it changes. As you can see there. Oh. Literally that's all it changes. It gets a spoiler and a few extra things on the back. That's about it, really. Oh, and it gets little lines down the front there. As you can see, it does get little lines. Then bring on the GXT. Now the GXT completely is really cool. It's a really cool rocket car. I really liked it. It's probably one of my favorite battle cars, if I'm being honest here. And again, changing everything. From the Optimus, it still uses the light to change color, but this time they use both the primary and the accent, which I find really, really cool. I did manage to get a couple of colors for it. So the one we are going to go with is the Black Guardian GXT. Now, a lot of decals were released with this one. And I mean a lot. Now, one of the more interesting decals, decal-wise, the Rocket Pass could have been better. If I'm honest, if we're being honest, decal-wise, this Rocket Pass kind of failed. They weren't the best. If I'm being honest, this Rocket Pass kind of felt rushed with the overall design of the items that it gave up. Shield glitch, not a favorite. Again, not a favorite. And then the other one is the mainliner. So that's the one we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with the mainliner. Normal mainliner. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna darken the colors down. Like that. And as you can see, if I do that, the items do change color. But decal wise, I do like this design. Now the wheels, this Rocket Pass, it opened up a lot, I think. It definitely showed us new wheels that we hadn't have seen before. Ones like Generator, Metalwork, as it's shown here. You managed to get a special edition one. Now there were a lot of wheels. Like Generator, Tungsten, or whatever they're called. I can't pronounce it. Crystal Celestial. These were released as well. The Galvans with special editions. No, these ones were not. Visionaries. And the Visionaries are the wheels we are going to be using. Now, boost wise, it was interesting. We had Slash Beam. Pretty cool design, I think, for Slash Beam. It was a nice decal, but sound wise it was really annoying. Decals? Top decals. Toppers. There wasn't many released with this one. There was 3. You had UFO 2, UFO 1, and it's down here. Salty were the premium ones released. So we're gonna. I don't really like the salty one, so we are gonna go with UFO. As for antennas, the cool ones, I did kind of like these. There were a lot of rumors around these, but we did get the sparklers. Now the rumors around these were as they were gonna go down as the Rocket Pass went on. That never happened. But they were cool nonetheless. So we do have them. Goal explosion wise, the goal main one was Force Razor. And I believe it was also came out with this. Yes, Poof. Yes, the legendary Poof. For Trail, I never actually got to get a red one, but this is the car that we're doing for Rocket Pass 3. The Guardian GXT, very nice design. This decal has to be one of the better ones. I don't like the other 2 animated ones. They annoyed me in ways that I couldn't get a design with them. Like, they just didn't work. Like, just the way they were designed. Normally the animated decals that I'm used to normally move back to the car. So they go from the front of the car to the back. Both the shield glitch moved in from the sides, like on an angle, not just straight, but like diagonally. Like from the corners. So it went from here to there. So it went down like that. And then the other one popped out from the middle of the car. I just couldn't seem to get a design to work with them. So they weren't really my favorites. But yes, the trailer was dropped on April 16th, and the Rocket Pass came out literally the day after on April 17th. I was stoked for the Rocket Pass. I literally could not wait to play it. And finally, for the first time ever, I managed to get myself a Rocket Pass. Now, it has a nice engine audio. Personally, I do like the engine audio for this car. Not many people did. Oh, I hate the engine audio. It was a very nice car. It had a very interesting design to it. Overall, it was a nice car. was interesting in its own right as I said, it was interesting. It wasn't so much like, it wasn't negative as much as it was interesting. It was a very cool car. Personally, I liked the light theme of it. I liked the overall design of the Rocket Pass. Although it did, like, whereas the other two Rocket Passes, so Rocket Pass 1 was more of like an introduction theme, so it was more like a race car kind of modern hypercar style design, and Rocket Pass 2 had a kind of futuristic space design to it, whereas Rocket Pass 3 had really no theme to it. It felt almost rushed in an aspect. Yeah, in some aspects it felt rushed. But Rocket Pass 3 also did bring along with it the challenges. Now, these challenges were interesting and annoying at the same time. If you had the free one, you had 3 challenges. If you bought the premium, you had 6. Now, other than points towards your Rocket Pass, they didn't give you anything. They were annoying, especially the extra mode ones, as people don't really play extra mode ones all that often, so it is difficult to try and find a playlist or a match in extra modes, and normally when you do, your servers are always buggy. But the event that did come out with the Rocket Pass was Radical Summer. A very cool event. It brought along with it a lot of interesting items. And I believe it was the first time you could buy the XP thing. And it was actually one of the biggest events they had ever had, as it expanded for 9 weeks. Normally normally an event goes for 3 weeks, but this one had 3 stages and each went for 3 weeks. So we were looking at a 9-week Rocket League event. It was really cool. Really enjoyed it. Overall, my experience with Rocket Pass 3 was mostly good. But in the aspect of how the game was, how I had learned, how I came to see what I was hyped up for from the past 2 Rocket Passes, Rocket Pass 3 was a bit of a letdown, as it felt almost rushed. Like, they just rushed it. They hadn't really thought through it. They hadn't taken a close look. Like, the 3 moving decals, Shield Glitch, Mainliner, and the other one, whatever it's called, none of them feel like they're a part of each other. They each feel like they belong in 3 different categories. Whereas the animated decals and wheels from Rocket Pass 1 all felt like they would work together, and like the madness and stuff for Rocket Pass 2 felt like, oh, it's an outer space kind of theme, like it's alien type wheels. But like the random UFO topper, that was weird. And much like, one of the saddest things was, much like Rocket Pass 2, how it lost its antennas, along with Rocket Pass 3, painted toppers were then removed. You no longer get painted versions of the toppers, and it was a bit of a letdown, if I'm honest. Like, the whole persona of the Rocket Pass, it just felt so off, so wrong. And I think it was because it was just, it was weird. Like, all the items didn't correspond with one another. None of them felt like they belonged. Some of them worked with others, but not all worked together, and I mean, that's just the way the game was. Personally, that's just the way it worked. Like, we can't control, but it does feel rushed. Rocket Pass 3, it did feel a bit rushed. It did feel a bit off, like they were just throwing a bunch of random stuff together. And that in itself is just the way it is. And I mean, yeah, Rocket Pass 3 was good. I certainly enjoyed it. The overall design of the game, I liked that. The overall feel for the game in itself was good. So I played through it and I managed to, by week 5, you could tell the weeks because the challenges were done by weeks. Week 5, I had completed I'd managed to get to tier 70. And I was excited, so we started collecting the painted items, we got some more keys. And I believe by the end of the Rocket Pass, I had about 8 keys and a couple decryptors, so I didn't get anything too exciting from the decryptors. I didn't get anything too exciting from really any of the keys either. It was all like just the overall design and feel of this Rocket Pass was a bit iffy. It was and I mean, you had the Guardian. It was a cool car, nice design, the wheels were cool, the car was cool. I mean, the Rocket Pass, I spent, because I got to week 5 and had completed most of the stuff for it, and was already looking forward to the next one. And we got to the end of Rocket Pass, and they had told us that it was being extended. And for many people, that the month that it got extended, it was supposed to end sometime in June. It got extended an extra month. Now, the reason for this was because of the problems they had with Rocket Pass 2. They didn't want to cause a month's gap between them like they did last time, so they extended the Rocket Pass. And during this extension, we did get Radical Summer. It was released, and many people, Radical Summer did dive in. It went through July, it went from June to July and then into August, so it was a pretty big one, and it was still going during the extension of Rocket Pass 3. we're being honest, I like how they extended it. I like how they were on board to extending it. And I mean, the extension makes sense. And I enjoyed Radical Summer. And the interesting thing was that the car for Rocket Pass 4 was in the trailer. And on the end date, once Rocket Pass 3 had ended, we were going to get Rocket Pass 4. And I was excited for that. A lot of people were, if we're being honest. And I, for one, was getting ready to just simply begin my Rocket Pass story and just start playing all the Rocket Passes in a way that I never thought I would be able to. Generally in a way that many people I considered would never happen. I loved playing the Rocket Passes. I always have. And that's what I'm excited to see. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm excited to come. That's what I cannot wait for. And I mean, the whole persona around Rocket Pass. Like, there was a massive persona. I mean, massive. Around Rocket Pass. If you're looking at Rocket Pass the way people did, then you're never going to enjoy them. Many people are negative when the Rocket Passes aren't, like, as good as they could be, or aren't, like, these big spectacular things, or are just written off. And I feel like that they don't need to be like that. You can enjoy the Rocket Passes for what they are in your own way. You don't have to love them or hate them or even be negative about them. Everyone can be their own with the Rocket Pass, and that's what I like about it. That's what I've always liked about it. And with the little hidden Easter egg of the Mudcat inside the Radical Summer trailer, I found really cool. I really like that. It was a cool detail that I think definitely deserved to be added, and 100% loved it. It gave it a cool effect. It basically gave it everything that it needed to be. They got the hype going, they got it extended, they basically had solved all their problems. And then August, and time comes for Rocket League. Fire's Edge. But honestly, my experience with Rocket Pass 3 was good. I enjoyed it. I know not everybody did. But then again, not everybody will. And that's just something we have to deal with. Like, no one's ever going to love every Rocket Pass. And I mean, of course, you're never gonna love every Rocket Pass. But personally, I saw Rocket Pass 3 as a learning experience. Both Rocket Pass 2 and 3 were a learning experience for Psyonix, as in an aspect of it was new to them. They had never experienced or tried to do anything like this. They had never really attempted it before. And I mean, aspect-wise, it was a learning experience for them. It wasn't everything it was cut out to be. It could have been better. I can see it as something that was a learning experience, and I know not everybody does. And I mean, not everybody ever will. That's just the way it goes. And I mean, you're never gonna be able to pick apart Rocket League. You're never gonna know what Psyonix is doing, what they've got coming. And that's the interesting thing. They've got us waiting for the season, Rocket Pass Season 1. I'm excited to see what it may contain. I'm excited to see what it may bring. Because, to be honest with you, God knows what it could bring. God knows what it could do, what it could show. And I mean, if we're being honest here, it literally, from what I hope, for my hope, I hope that they don't shoot themselves in the foot with this new Rocket Pass. I mean, they've built up the hype, they've got the hype coming, and I think with enough time, they could really do some incredible things with this next Rocket Pass. And I mean, by all means, I hope they do. And I mean, yeah, they're never gonna have this down pat. Like, how could they? And I think that's enough to show that this Rocket Pass did intend to be something, and that it could have been something. They just didn't have the time. And I hope that they do have the time with the next one. But it came August 21st. We got the Rocket Pass 4 trailer. It was August 27th. Rocket Pass 3 ends and brings along with it the next day. But that I'll save for tomorrow. So until then, everyone, thank you for watching.